Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of our podcast, where we'll dive into the world of pop culture and explore one of its most defining elements, music. In this episode, we'll be discussing the evolution of pop music over time and its cultural significance. From the earliest influences of blues and jazz to the modern-day chart-topping hits, we'll explore how pop music has reflected and influenced our culture's social, political, and economic changes. We'll be taking a deep dive into different musical eras that have come to define pop music, including the British invasion of the 1960s, disco music of the 1970s, 1980s pop, grunge, and the modern era of pop. Finally, we'll wrap up with a ranking of the top pop albums of all time, as voted by pop culture and music experts. So buckle up, turn up the volume, and get ready to take a trip through time on this exciting musical journey.
Discuss the relationship between pop culture and music evolution, and why music has been such a key component of popular culture throughout history.
Music has always played a central role in popular culture as it has the power to shape and reflect societal changes while also cultivating new ones. Music has been entertaining us for centuries and continues to do so today, evident in the way our favorite hits infiltrate our homes, workplaces, social media platforms and frequently shape our lifestyles, identity and expressive culture. Additionally, music has been instrumental in the growth, diversification, and changes in popular culture. Since the early 20th century, music has solidified its place within the popular culture realm, through marketing, branding and commodity production as well as defining a new era for communication and entertainment. Music has always been a device for individual and communal expression. It has the ability to form deep connections, evoke emotions, and create cultural movements that have historical significance. The development of folk music was a way for people to relate to one another and create a sense of community, while rock and roll was a tool for individuals to rebel against traditional societal norms. Music has been used to protest political change, draw public attention to injustices, or mark the beginning of a cultural movement. Furthermore, music has also served as a form of entertainment, giving people an escape from their daily lives and introducing them to new sounds and rhythms, regardless of the genre. For all these reasons, music has played a significant role in shaping and cementing popular culture over the years. In conclusion, music has played a key role in pop culture because of its versatility and adaptability to social changes, technology, political songs, audience preferences and other cultural aspects. Music has been a reflection and influencer of societies and continues to be a unifying force in shaping modern culture.
Examine some of the earliest genres that influenced the evolution of modern pop music, including blues, jazz, and rock and roll.
Certainly. The evolution of modern pop music would not have been possible without the influence of several key genres that came before it. Here are a few of the earliest genres that influenced the evolution of modern pop music. 1. Blues. Originating in the late 19th century African American communities in the South, blues music was characterized by its simple structures and lyrics that often dealt with themes of hardship and struggle. The sound of the blues was created by acoustic guitars with slide, harmonicas, and vocals, establishing a musical tradition that would shape many future genres. 2. Jazz. Jazz originated in African American communities in New Orleans in the early 20th century, incorporating elements of blues and ragtime. Jazz's hallmark sound emphasized improvisation and swung rhythms, and instrumentalists used various musical techniques such as syncopated rhythms, polyrhythms, and dissonance. Jazz played a significant role in shaping popular music, providing ideas and musical elements to most of the modern popular genres, including R&B and rock. 3. Rock and roll. Rock and roll music emerged in the 1950s in the United States, taking elements from African American R&B, blues, and gospel music. It was characterized by its upbeat and energetic rhythm, powerful guitar riffs, and a prominent beat for dancing. Rock and roll had a significant impact on popular music, creating a new sound and a new era of cultural expression in popular culture. Each of these earliest genres contributed structurally and aesthetically to the creative process of modern pop music, that has continued to evolve over the years to encompass a broad range of sounds and styles. Pop music's changing musical landscape draws on past influences while always reinventing itself and creating new trends, with an ongoing dialogue with history and innovation fueled by emerging technology and ever-changing cultures.
Walk through the evolution of pop music from the 1950s to the present. Some key eras to cover might include 60s British invasion, disco music, 80s pop music, grunge, and modern pop, post-fourth wave feminism, LGBTQI.
Certainly. Here's a high-level walkthrough of the evolution of pop music from the 1950s to the present day, covering some key eras and genres. 1950s. The 1950s saw the rise of rock and roll, led by artists such as Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and Elvis Presley. The music was characterized by upbeat tempos, guitar riffs, and provocative lyrics, prompting controversy and an enormous fan base. 1960s. The Beatles' arrival on the American music scene in 1964 marked the beginning of the British invasion, setting the stage for the 60s as the era of diverse and expressive music. The musical genres included R&B, soul, psychedelic rock, blues rock, and folk rock. This era's music was reflective of the era's social upheavals, civil rights movement, hippie subculture, and drug experimentation. Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, and Janis Joplin are some notable artists from this era. 1970s. The 1970s brought disco music, led by groups such as Chic, Bee Gees and Donna Summer. Disco music dominated the music charts in the United States and Europe, fueled by rhythm and musicality. Punk rock emerged parallel to disco's popularity, with bands like the Ramones, Blondie, and The Clash. This movement resonated with the anti-establishment ethos, aggressive music and style. 1980s. The 1980s were the era of synthesizers and the rise of pop music. Madonna emerged as the pop queen while Michael Jackson cemented his place as the king of pop. Other popular artists of the decade include Whitney Houston, Prince, and George Michael. The era of MTV emerged, launching a new medium for the music industry, promoting and popularizing music videos and live performances. 1990s. The 1990s saw a series of new movements and genres, including grunge, alternative rock, hip-hop, and R&B. Grunge began in the early 90s, driven by bands such as Nirvana, Soundgarden, and Pearl Jam, characterized by raw emotions, dissonant guitars, and introspective lyrics. Pop music's mass polarization during the decade gave way to artists such as Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men, and TLC, while hip-hop experienced a huge boom, expanding globally thanks to artists such as Tupac Shakur, Notorious B.I.G., and Dr. Dre. 2000s and beyond. In the 2000s, pop music continued with the emergence of the boy band craze, with groups such as NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. Hip-hop continued to evolve with new sub-genres, such as Southern rap and conscious hip-hop. The 2010s ushered in a new wave of electronic dance music, along with numerous combinations of different genres, leading to various genre-bending sub-genres. As technology continued to advance, pop music evolution also saw the emergence of independent, homegrown projects, leading to more diverse musical trends that cater uniquely to different demographics. In recent years there has been a significant increase in social commentary and political messages conveyed through the pop music industry.
Discuss how pop music has reflected and influenced culture and social issues throughout the decades, and how artists use music to express political views or touch on sensitive issues.
Over the years, pop music has reflected and influenced culture and social issues in various ways. Artists use music as an instrument to voice their opinions on social and political issues, the environment, injustice, war conflicts, and some general societal themes. Here are some ways pop music has reflected and influenced culture and social issues throughout history. The civil rights and anti-war movements. Pop music was instrumental in reflecting and influencing people during the civil rights movement of the 60s and 70s. Bob Dylan's "Blowin' in the Wind" and Sam Cooke's "A Change Is Gonna Come" became the unofficial anthems for the civil rights era. Similarly, Pop music was the driving force behind the anti-war movement during the Vietnam War, with songs like Buffalo Springfield's For What It's Worth and Edwin Starr's War. Environmental activism artists have moved beyond socio-political issues to touch on environmental concerns to raise awareness globally. It began with Joni Mitchell's Big Yellow Taxi in 1970, which raised concern about humans' negative impact on environment and climate. Current artists such as Billie Eilish and Taylor Swift use their music to convey the message of the harmful effects of pollution, global warming, and animal abuse. Violent crime and police brutality. The late 80s and early 90s saw the rise of hip-hop and rap music that became the voices of disenfranchised black communities, a form of protest against police brutality and systematic injustices. Artists such as Tupac Shakur, N.W.A., and Public Enemy expressed outrage while calling for change. Songs like N.W.A.'s Fuck de Police reflected the reality that many black Americans faced. This led to several societal ripples such as the Rodney King movement in the 90s. Feminism and LGBTQI+ movements. The 2010s saw an increase in pop music discussing fundamental issues around feminism and LGBTQI+ rights. We saw this in Beyoncé's Run the World, Girls, Lady Gaga's Born This Way, and Katy Perry's Firework. These songs are geared towards promoting body positivity, gender equality, and encouraging self-love and individuality. In conclusion, pop music has been a reflection of society's culture and a catalyst for societal changes throughout the decades. From the civil rights movement of the 60s to environmental awareness to punk rock's aggressive resistance, pop music has been pivotal in supporting political messages, promoting ethical trends, and informing the public of complex issues. Pop music has the power to create cultural movements and social change, influencing society and touching on sensitive themes that affect the general public.
Finally, we'll wrap up with a ranking of the top pop albums of all time.
Sure. It's important to note that top albums of all time lists are subjective and vary from person to person. Here's just one take on the top pop albums of all time. 1. Michael Jackson, Thriller, 1982. 2. The Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, 1967. 3. Prince, Purple Rain, 1984. 4. Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, 1977. 5. Beyoncé, Lemonade, 2016. 6. Adele, 21, 2011. 7. Whitney Houston, 1985. 8. David Bowie, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, 1972. 9. Madonna, Like a Prayer, 1989. 10. Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life, 1976. Each album on this list represents an era in pop music history that has defined the genre with its distinct sounds, lyrics, and cultural implications. Pop music has produced several iconic albums throughout history, and we've chosen these 10 based on historic relevance, attaining commercial success, societal commentary, and artistic influence.
Let's wrap up this episode on music in pop culture.
Great. I hope you found our discussion on music in popular culture informative and thought-provoking. Pop music has indeed played a crucial role in our lives, influencing and reflecting social values, societal injustices, and cultural trends over time. It has changed the world through its cultural significance, carrying memories of times past and providing hope for a better future, while remaining an ever-evolving art form. Thank you for discussing this topic with me today.